Alrighty. So this is chapter 8, 7. I don't. It doesn't have any content warnings for this specific chapter. It just says it's rough. So caution to listeners,
Yeah.
I guess. And we'll start with. Did we say we're gonna start with Anna, or we're gonna start with you or me?
We can start with Anna since she's first on the list.
Anna.
And then things go right back to how they were before. Kind of. After Calliope's outburst, they collapse into a burnt-out fugue, and at Roxy's polite insistence, you leave him to take care of them, and fly back home. The house is exactly as you left it, down to the 10 unopened letters in a perfect circle, greasy and crinkled in their haste to be written. You gather them all in your hands and dump them in the trash bin in the corner of your bedroom. Looking back on it, they were really quite a bunch of sappy mush that revealed far more than you're comfortable with. You're beyond relieved that the last will and testament of John Egbert is not how you'll be remembered. In fact, you're so ready to get out there and make a decent impression again, and let the old depressed piece of shit you fall to the wayside. The old depressed piece of shit you fall to the wayside. So ready.
Yet you find yourself hesitating as you loosely hold your phone in your hand. You can't help but keep thinking about Ghost Calliope's words. She said this place offers you the ability to get over your personal hang-ups and collectively self-actualize. That every decision you make from now on will shape the person you are, the person you will become. It's a lot to take in. You're not sure you're ready to. You're not sure you're ready to, develop further past the point you're at yet. You've only just come back from the dead. It would be completely irresponsible to jump into any kind of meaningful growth.
Or at least that's the justification you give yourself for why a nauseous clenching in your stomach forces you to shut your phone off and put it down on your nightstand. You need rest. You don't need to start fucking around with your friends' pre-established lies without the excuse of upholding some grand narrative.
So instead of making the most of your first evening as a free person, you crawl downstairs and plant your ass on the living room couch, numbly flicking through the Human Kingdom broadcasts. Jane's making some presidential speech about promising to leave Earthsea a better place for all species by the time her term is through, and it kind of vaguely hints without confirming anything that she may now be advocating for more lenient laws vis-a-vis troll reproductive rights. But you see the way her government glares at her from the background. Battle no matter what, you suppose.
There's also a news bit about how beloved primetime show Rumble in da Pumpkin Patch is on a sudden hiatus until further notice. Said further notice being whenever Dirk's ready to start behaving like a normal human being again. Neither Jake nor Dirk are available for comment, so the whole segment is manned by one very intrepid crocodile journalist. You kind of feel bad for the little guy. He's trying his best, but repeated knacks can only convey so much of the nuance here.
Then there's some kind of late-night talk show that parodies Karkat's presidential campaign in a series of egregiously offensive sketches that smack of the Human Congress's xenophobic propaganda. Like, there's a whole human in gray face groping at a shitty Jake English cosplayer in front of a laugh track. God, seeing the state of your friends' lives played out like this, it kind of fucking sucks. Why did any of you think it was a good idea to involve yourselves with infrastructures of power?
You finally flick over the channel when they cart out a cheap Dave imitator and the faux Karkat starts speaking in a garbled Alternian accent. Christ, why is literally everything about this so shitty?
It comes as a relief when the next channel you click onto is the World Heritage Channel, currently in the midst of a Nick Cage marathon, like it is pretty much every day. Con Air's credits flash by, screen warped by what you assume is the strain of preserving a film across two universes, even though you're fairly certain this is just a rip from your old DVD. You can't help but think there's something so incredibly dumb and fake about Cage flicks being the entire basis of a World Heritage Channel. It's
something completely expected in a universe governed by the desires of its very nerdy and kinda unintelligent teenage creators. That might be part of what you hate so much about living here. Everything smacks of your old juvenile interests, warped and reflected back on you, to you for the rest of forever, in a way that doesn't even ring true to the original. Like, you're fairly certain there's something wrong about a vaguely smelly-looking man being rendered a World Heritage artifact because you thought it was cool that one time you won a video game at 16. Whoops, guess that's an immutable fact for all eternity now.
The next movie starts up, the title of which you find you can't quite remember. Not that it matters, all the Cage movies are in the same vein. Dumb, cliché action flicks that 13-year-old you lapped up. These aren't even his most critically acclaimed works. But now they're all he'll all be known by, millions of years after his demise in a universe long dead. It's pretty awful how much everything here perfectly fits you and your friends' wants and desires in some ways. Sure, you didn't like the less dumb Cage films, but them being there made you appreciate what you did like even more. Everything here feels a little like you're a kid in a playground, only you're too big to use any of the toys, and also you're trapped in the playground for the rest of your life.
Like, you don't even know why you cared so much about these dumb Nick Cage movies in the first place. There's just dumb 2-hour features of a B-list actor playing the same stupid hyper-masculine role. What did you ever see in this? Why the fuck did this stupid fake macho stuff matter to you in the slightest? Like, actually, watching a grizzled, unwashed Cage and a wife beater's making you feel a little ill, like you've eaten too much greasy takeout and it refuses to sit comfortably in your stomach, it's actually really gross, and the fact that this has been imprinted on your universe as emblematic of you makes it feel even worse.
You guess you maybe kind of looked up to these Cage characters in some weird way? Like, you don't know. It was some weird surrogate father figure thing in the wake of some really dumb teenage rebellion? You're not sure. So deliberately over the top and fake that it shouldn't have been some kind of thing for a kid you to emulate as any kind of role model. Even you in your dim youth would have realized Nick Cage is an unattainable model of...
This line of thinking is suddenly making you feel a little weird. You distinctly recall actually looking up to this. If you're going to be completely candid, you're pretty sure you discussed growing up to be like Nick Cage with Vriska at least once or twice during your suburb stint. Were you actually that dumb as to not realize Nick Cage isn't someone you can just, mold yourself after? Hell, you did a better job of emulating a troll girl than you ever did,
Oh, fuck, your heart's pounding like mad. What the fuck are you thinking about? Why the fuck are you freaking out again? Hey, body, can you get some air through the lungs here or something? You grip the arm of the couch enough that you're tearing the fabric. And, hey, your ass is suddenly not in the seat. You're floating outside of your control. You're floating and you can't fucking breathe? God, hell, shit, fuck, this is so awful. You hate this. You hate yourself. Can this fucking stop, please?
Your head smacks against the living room ceiling as your vision swims as you drop to the floor like a stone. Hey, at least you got your wish, you think hazily, as the first body notes of "How do I live" wrap around your ears and pull you into unconsciousness.
You dream, maybe. You're flying across a vast expanse of undefinable colors and shapes. Above, an unending chasm so vast that any matter that dares cross its threshold does so with the knowledge it will never return. There is a whipping of particulates buffeting against your skin. Not quite wind, for you know the wind more deeply and more intimately than all else, but something closer to it than you've ever felt in your years on a planet in stasis. It makes you feel unbound and limitless, like you could do anything, go anywhere, be anything.
Your body drifts along the plane's curvature, your eyes trying to make sense of what you see below. There are small figures moving in regular, bizarrely patterned movements, featureless pieces dancing in tuneless rhythm across a silent game board. Yet, even as you draw closer, something shifts. The odd ground jumps, warping and wrapping around itself as it gains an extra dimension. Above, the void is punctuated by a neon-colored sphere, both too close and too far all at once. You feel as if you could reach out and simply be there. Like part of you is already there, somehow.
Even though you don't know when or where you are, you find yourself not caring. The you that you find yourself being in this space-time moment of dubious authenticity feels right. Like, so right that you don't even feel the need to look at yourself to be reassured of your own existence.
Another flash, another glowing sky sphere. The landscape below you morphs again, even more drastically. The flat plain extends and ripples into a fully realized landscape, complete with mountains and trees and rivers. It's familiar to you in a way that most things aren't.
You know this place, or at the very least, the core iterative ideal this place is manifesting out of. It is the last place, maybe even the only place, where you've ever felt real. A forest...
A forest erupts 100 feet beneath you as a chain of spirograph gates span the void between here and the newest generated world. You take a peek up as you begin to descend. It's a strangely ovular planet, marked by oceans that shimmer like gold. Past that, you know there to be a belt of meteors, And beyond that, nothing at all. Not yet, at least. Of that you are certain.
Your feet touch the floor of the battlefield forest. It's early on in the timeline. Everything remains still in a moment of respite that will cruelly be cut short. The air is crisp and rejuvenating. You take several lungfuls as you wander among the trees, hair flying around in the breeze. An uncharacteristic elation buoys you through the nearest clearing, a small scene lined with fresh-smelling wild grass and a pond more clear and reflective than any mirror.
You can't say what urges you to lean in towards the pond to take a look at yourself. Maybe it's the way you're aware your body carries a little differently than normal, or the way occupying a physical form isn't getting you down. Either way, you're overcome with the desire to look. You need to see. You need to see.
Slowly, you shift your face over the water that ripples in the wind and wait for it to calm again. A funny kind of trepidation gets your stomach flipping as, inch by inch, your facial reflection comes into view and you finally see... Oh.
You should not be here. Begone. All too abruptly, you jolt awake. Your head and chest feel heavy, and your eyes squint as morning sunlight beams through the window you left open all night. God, you think you were having some kind of significant dream? It all feels fuzzy now. You wish you could hold on to the feeling just a little longer, but even as you think, the final vestiges of emotion drain away. You're back to being you on your living room floor as your shitty TV plays a shitty Nick Cage clip.
You pull yourself to your feet and turn the screen off, attempting to stretch the kink out of your shoulders. You also catch a whiff of yourself as you move. Blech, you feel gross. Like, maybe you haven't showered in who even knows how long? Since the morning you left on your canonical suicide mission? Yeesh. You can't even say this is you being depressed. This is just straight up nasty behavior.
Before you head into the shower, you stop by your room and turn your phone on. It's been approximately 18 hours since you last checked in on your friends. Might as well see if they haven't gotten themselves into trouble, even if you can't quite work up the energy to go out and join them.
First thing you see is a group snap sent from Terezi at 3 a.m. It reads,
The chess people just tried to arrest Vriska for Grand Theft Auto and arson.
and features Vriska fighting off a couple of really short-looking Carpathian cops in front of a burning car? What the fuck, Vriska?
You really consider sending back a
What the fuck?
response, but you catch your reflection in your phone screen and... no. Your hair is all lank and flat and your face is showing the first signs of gross stubble growth, and that's not at all the kind of image you want to transmit. Instead, you scroll on.
The next snap is one from Jake. It's him giving his trademark 2 pistols and a wink pose. And in the background is what appears to be Dirk inside a crude cardboard prison cell.
Gay? Gay baby jail?
Is written on the front in Jake's distinct handwriting.
There's also a snap from Jade. She's half dressed in a neon fursuit at a rave surrounded by consorts. The caption says,
Dave and Carcat were too busy with lame boy time, so I had to make my own fun.
At least she's happy.
You also have a private Pester Chum message from Roxy.
Thanks for helping with Callie, and sorry for ditching you. Still coaxing him out of their hole, but if you want to talk, I'm here.
You consider what to say, but realize you've probably left Roxy on red long enough that there's no point in replying. So you leave it, and try not to feel like too much of a piece of garbage.
Showering passes by in a strange haze. The water feels too warm and too close to your skin, and you end up feeling hyper-aware of your body in a bad way. Like, you actually feel the need to close your eyes as you scrub yourself down. It's kind of weird and dumb.
Things get even weirder and dumber when you actually get out of the shower and pick up your razor and crack open one of your dad's million old cans of shaving cream from a supply that never seems to dwindle. For a half second, you consider just not bothering with this dumb grooming routine and letting yourself rot like the deflated sack of stuff you are. But that is evidently a bad idea, because even the concept of not liberally applying a sharp blade to your face makes it, really kind of hard to think?
You coat your face in shaving cream and slowly and stiffly remove yourself of unwanted hair up there. You find yourself going about it in a weirdly methodical, highly dissociative manner. Like, by the time you finally finish one side of your jaw, it feels like you've been dealing with this for literal fucking years. A ball begins to well up in your throat. You might actually really hate your body, come to think of it.
Flecks of tiny hairs caught up in goopy wads of shaving cream spatter along the sink. It's the most disgusting sight you've ever seen. Probably because you know it's coming from you, even though it's a completely natural thing for your body to be doing. But it's you, and it's part of you, and that's why it makes you feel like you could explode.
Eventually, you get it done. As you wash the evidence down the sink and hike your towel up to your chest, you're left feeling utterly miserable. Existing and being reminded that you occupy a physical body that requires constant maintenance is fucking awful. You were half toying with actually making something of today, but now all you want to do is lie down and stop feeling anything.
You drag yourself back into your bedroom and dress away from the judgmental eyes of the mirror. Long hoodie, baggy jeans. Something to obfuscate your form. A form that's too lanky, too unmaintained. Your whole body feels like it's failing to match up to some undefinable standard. Like, down to your skin. None of it feels like it truly belongs to you, and...
Oh, fuck, you're crying now? Like, not even the aesthetic cutesy crying. You're straight up sobbing, heaving and hawking up snot and slime that runs down your smooth face in fluid crags of grief. You lose strength in your knees and sink to the floor, but you're only half aware that you're doing it. All you can focus on is the violent, ugly tearing of a ball of blades ripping shreds inside your core.
Why? Why do you feel like this? Why can't you just feel like you? You're so absolutely fucking sick of feeling so worn down and miserable, like your own skin is choking you to death. Like you're drowning in your body and you're so waterlogged you don't see a way out of this in complete and total self-destruction. You...
I want to feel like a fucking person again.
You can't do this. You can't stay here in this house that suffocates you with the ghosts of people you're not. If you remain any longer, you'll do something really, really stupid.
So you let your body dissolve itself into wisps of air that carry you away on the breeze, out of this horrible house that offers nothing good, and right to the only person who's ever managed to encourage you to feel even remotely worthwhile about yourself.
Whew.
Goddamn.
Emotional viscera is a good way to describe that.
Excuse me.